Richo has been booted out of the kitchen and I'm being joined by Thomas, who is one of 6 master chocolatiers from Lindt. What are we doing today?
We are going to make it's almost like a little chocolate brownie, chocolate cake, but it's a little bit special because we actually don't use any butter. We're going to use apple puree instead.
Wonderful.
A good way of getting a bit of fruit into chocolate as well. So to get started, I have a little bit of cocoa powder. So we sift together all the dry ingredients. So
Perfect.
I might get you to do that in that bowl.
Yes, I can do this.
A little bit of cocoa powder, a teaspoon of baking powder, and that just sort of helps the sort of lightness of the actual cake a little bit in the end.
Yes.
And just some plain flour as well.
Perfect.
All that goes in.
Okay, I can sift that.
For the chocolate part of it, what we're actually going to do is almost like a bit of a chocolate base. And for this recipe, I'm actually going to use 85% cocoa. And we're going to use 2 of those and make a base with a little bit of apple juice.
Okay.
So the apple juice, we just warm that up and almost make like a bit of a chocolate ganache.
Okay,
just instead of
beautiful.
cream, we're using apple juice. I always like to use a quality apple juice as well. So
Yes.
some apple juice is really just quite sweet.
Okay.
So that can be a little tricky. So that just goes on the heat, just
Yes.
warm it up, and then we put the chocolate in. Okay, so apple juice is coming up. I might get you to open this one as well.
I can
Just
do that.
break it into little squares.
Do we eat on the job?
You're
No.
more than welcome to.
I feel like you'll know if there's any missing.
We need 200 grams, but there's always a little bit of something extra for you.
That gets eaten on the way. Look at this. So you're using an 85% cocoa.
It is quite strong, so you can replace this with the 70% excellence as well. So as soon as the apple juice is hot, take it off the heat, put the chocolate
Put
straight
it in. Beautiful.
Yeah. And don't forget the little square for you.
A little. Thanks, Thomas.
The nice thing with this chocolate, the 85%, we actually use demerara sugar as well. So it's an unrefined sugar and just has that little bit of caramel sort of flavour to it as well. So absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, nice.
So we just let that sit and the warm apple juice will melt the chocolate. Okay, next thing onto the eggs, then we just sort of whisk them up. So I might get you to do that.
Yes,
if
I
that's
can do
okay.
it.
So 2 eggs straight in here, and with a whisk, we give them a nice bit of air.
Can do. I love that Thomas is giving me all the easy jobs. He knows my level of chef skills.
no.
Perfect.
Now, this is something that's optional, but you can actually sweeten it slightly as well. So it hasn't got any sugar in the recipe, but you can sweeten it with a touch of honey as well. So just a
Nice.
little spoonful.
Just a tiny
Absolutely
bit.
beautiful. Honey, apple, and chocolate
Yes.
is like a perfect
I'm
little
getting
combination as
excited.
well.
I'm
So
getting very
all works
excited.
well. So a nice little bit of air, because that all helps to make the cake a little bit lighter.
How's this looking?
This is looking great. Nice and
Perfect.
light, so perfect. So that's ready to go now. So we're just going to have a look at this chocolate. See, but like the chocolate's virtually all gone.
That's such a clever trick. You just heated the apple juice and you've allowed it to
That's
melt
right.
the chocolate.
Dan just gently does it to actually combine this. And it's almost
Beautiful.
creating like a bit of a ganache, really. So here we go. This is looking really nice and glossy and smooth.
is.
All the chocolate has melted. But now we're ready to go and put this all together. First thing into the egg is our apple puree.
Nice.
So you can use apple puree or apple sauce as well. So
Okay.
that's fine.
Oh, from a jar.
That's right.
Okay, very easy.
Or you can easily stew down some apples as well.
Oh my gosh, look at this chocolate. I'm excited.
Here comes the chocolate part.
Okay.
There we go.
Beautiful.
And then we're ready for the dry ingredients as well. So we
Okay.
fold them in.
So do you want me to pop these in?
That'd be perfect.
Well sifted.
Well sifted,
Beautifully
that's
sifted.
it. And the sifting, yes, it gets rid of some lumps that may be in the cocoa or the flour as well, but it's really about sort of bringing the air into it as well.
Yes.
And then we want to make sure that it's all combined, but we don't want to whisk it too much because otherwise we start to actually build those proteins in the flour, and that's what makes the cake batter sort of tough.
That could be what's happening to me at home. Store it away for later. Perfect.
There we are. So ready to go in the mould.
Wonderful.
Thank you. Look at that.
So this is kind of between a chocolate and a brownie.
Between a sort of a chocolate cake and a brownie. And it's
Okay.
a lot of it is how we actually bake it as well. So we put it in the oven. If you pull it a little bit earlier, then it's
Yes.
going to be a little bit more sort of fudgy in there.
Yes.
But because we have the apple in there, it's always going to be super moist.
I'm loving this. I've never thought of putting apple juice, apple puree. I'm guessing you could use pear.
You could, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, mix it up.
So there we
Wonderful.
go.
Gosh, it looks so rich, Thomas. I'm excited.
It's beautiful. Give it a little bit of a tap as well. So if you do have any sort of large air pockets, they get knocked out, and then we're ready to put them in the oven. 170 degrees, probably about 20 minutes. We'll have a look at it.
Wonderful.
There we go. So it sort of cracks open a little bit, so it's perfect. That's exactly what you want.
It smells glorious, Thomas. I can smell this rich chocolate. Like, it smells amazing.
I'm glad. I'm
Yes.
glad. So the chocolate really helps to sort of bring that body of flavour to it as well. So you can put any topping that you like on there, like an icing, or I'm just going to grate a little bit of chocolate. And while it's still warm, not completely hot, but while it's still warm, it's perfect because some of the chocolate will just start to melt slightly.
I'm loving it. There's chocolate on chocolate.
Yes, there we go. It just looks pretty as well. It just sort of start to melt into it
I'm
slightly.
thinking this is a nice alternative to icing sugar you could do. Just some grated, I'm getting some ideas here.
That's right. So there we go. I think that's okay.
That's amazing. That's perfect.
Excellent. So put that aside and then we can just lift it out. Then would you like to try a little bit?
I would. Yes, I assume that's part of the brief.
Cut you a nice square. It has a bit of chocolate on there.
Because it's slightly warm, it's all starting to just ooze a little bit, all those beautiful
That's right.
delicate chocolate flakes.
Another little square. And then normally, like with brownie, the edge bit is always the best
It's
bit
always
because you
the
got a
best.
little bit
It's
of
a bit
crunchy parts
crispy.
on the side. Let's have a look inside. So it's really just nice and
Beautiful.
moist.
Oh, it is. Is that my piece?
That's your piece.
Okay, I'm
all
taking
yours.
it. Perfect. Thank you. Look at that.
Enjoy.
Thank you. So fluffy, so rich. You gonna have some?
Get a square
You
as well.
should.
Perfect to go with a cup of coffee, you know?
Absolutely. That's beautiful. Thank you, Thomas. I'll be making this one at home.